b3. This move was inaccurate, the best move was e4. For example, e4, e5, knight f3. With a balanced game. Hello player, today we will analyze the match between M. Carlsen with the white pieces and Ab Gupta with the black pieces. b3. Knight f6. Bishop b2. g6. g3. Bishop g7. Bishop g2. Kingside castling. Knight f3. d5. c4. c6. Kingside castling. Knight from b, d7. d4. Knight e4. e3. f5. Knight e1. f4. Knight d3. A. Captures on b3. A. Captures on b3. Rook captures on a1. Bishop captures on a1. Queen a5. Bishop b2. Knight from d, f6. c5. Knight g4. Queen e2. Bishop h6. Bishop c1. This move was inaccurate, the best move was bishop f3. For example, bishop f3. Knight from g, f6. Bishop g2. With a balanced game. Bishop c1. Queen a1. This move was inaccurate, the best move was bishop f5. For example, bishop f5. f3. Knight c3. Knight captures on c3. Queen captures on c3. Rook d1. Rook a8. With an advantage for black. Queen a1. Queen b2. This move was inaccurate, the best move was knight a3. For example, knight a3. Bishop f5. Bishop b2. Knight captures on g3. Queen captures on g4. Queen a2. Rook a1. Queen captures on a1 check. Bishop captures on a1. Bishop captures on g4. H captures on g3. Rook a8. Bishop b2. Bishop f5. Bishop f1. With a balanced game. Queen b2. Queen a6. This move was inaccurate, the best move was queen captures on b2. For example, queen captures on b2. Knight captures on b2. Bishop f5. With an advantage for black. Queen a6. Rook d1. Bishop f5. This move was inaccurate, the best move was b6. For example, b6. Knight c3. Knight from g, f6. With a balanced game. Bishop f5. Bishop f1. The evaluation became -0.2, this move was a mistake, the best move was h3. For example, h3. Knight g5. Knight b4. Knight captures on f2. Knight captures on a6. Knight captures on d1. Queen e2. Bishop captures on b1. Knight b4. Knight c3. Queen b2. Knight from g, e4. Bishop captures on e4. With a decisive advantage for white. Bishop f1. Knight g5. Knight e1. Queen a5. b4. Queen a8. f3. Knight f6. This move was inaccurate, the best move was knight h3. For example, knight h3 check. Bishop captures on h3. Bishop captures on e3 check. Bishop captures on e3. Knight captures on e3. Bishop captures on f5. Knight captures on d1. Queen d2. G captures on f5. Queen captures on d1. Queen a1. With a balanced game. Knight f6. h4. Knight e6. Knight c3. g5. This move was inaccurate, the best move was bishop g7. For example, bishop g7. g4. Knight captures on g4. F captures on g4. Bishop captures on g4. Bishop e2. f5. Bishop captures on g4. F captures on g4. Knight e2. Queen e8. With an advantage for white. g5. g4. Knight captures on g4. F captures on g4. Bishop captures on g4. Bishop e2. f5. Bishop captures on g4. F captures on g4. Queen g2. King h8. This move was inaccurate, the best move was G captures on h4. For example, G captures on h4. Queen captures on g4 check. Knight g5. Knight g2. King h8. With a decisive advantage for white. King h8. Queen captures on g4. Rook f6. h5. Queen a1. Bishop d2. Queen b2. Knight d3. Queen c2. Knight e5. Bishop g7. Queen e2. This move was inaccurate, the best move was bishop e1. For example, bishop e1. Knight c7. Queen e2. With a decisive advantage for white. Queen e2. g4. Queen d3. Queen b2. Rook b1. Queen a3. This move was inaccurate, the best move was queen a3. For example, Queen a3. King g2. Queen a8. With a decisive advantage for white. Queen a3. Knight captures on g4. This move was inaccurate, the best move was rook f1. For example, rook f1. Rook captures on f1 check. King captures on f1. Bishop captures on e5. Queen f5. Queen a6 check. Knight e2. With a decisive advantage for white. Knight captures on g4. Rook f3. King g2. The evaluation became -1.2, this was a serious mistake, the best move was queen e2. For example, Queen e2. Rook f5. h6. With a decisive advantage for white. King g2. Knight g5. The evaluation became 3.9, this was a serious mistake, the best move was knight f4. For example, knight f4 check. King captures on f3. Knight captures on d3. h6. Bishop f6. b5. King g8. B captures on c6. B captures on c6. Knight captures on f6 check. E captures on f6. Rook b6. f5. With a decisive advantage for black. Knight g5. h6. Bishop f6. Rook f1. Rook captures on f1. King captures on f1. This move gives back part of the advantage, the best move was queen captures on f1. For example, queen captures on f1. Queen b2. Queen f2. King g8. e4. D captures on e4. Knight captures on f6 check. E captures on f6. Bishop captures on g5. Queen captures on f2 check. King captures on f2. F captures on g5. King e3. King f7. King captures on e4. King g6. d5. C captures on d5 check. Knight captures on d5. With a decisive advantage for white. King captures on f1. Knight e4. King e2. Knight g3 check. King d1. Queen b3 check. Queen c2. Queen c4. Knight captures on f6. E captures on f6. Queen a2. This move gives back part of the advantage. The best move was Queen a4. For example, Queen a4. Queen a6. Queen captures on a6. B captures on a6. e4. King g8. E captures on d5. C captures on d5. c6. Knight f5. c7. Knight d6. Knight captures on d5. King f7. Knight b6. f5. Bishop f4. King f6. Bishop captures on d6. With a decisive advantage for white. Queen a2. Queen f1 check. King c2. Queen f5 check. King b3. Queen c8. Queen b1. This move gives back part of the advantage. The best move was King b2. For example, King b2. Knight f1. Bishop c1. Knight g3. e4. Queen g8. Queen a7. D captures on e4. Queen captures on b7. Knight f5. Queen captures on c6. Queen f8. Queen captures on e4. Knight e7. Queen e6. Knight g6. Bishop e3. With a decisive advantage for white. Queen b1. Knight f5. Queen f1. King g8. Queen f4. This move was inaccurate. The best move was e4. For example, e4. D captures on e4. Queen c4 check. King f8. Knight captures on e4. King e7. Knight c3. With a decisive advantage for white. Queen f4. King f7. b5. Knight e7. b6. Queen a8. e4. Queen a6. e5. Queen c4 check. King c2. f5. Queen g5. King e8. Queen f6. Knight g8. Queen g7. Knight e7. e6. White's victory. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and leave your suggestions.